Shizune drops a stack of attendance sheets next to me. Thanks again for helping out.
Thanks again, Hichan.
Sure is a lot of work though. I had to skip out on sign language class again, but now I'm at a level where I can understand most of Shizune and Misha's conversations without each other, so I'm not too bothered by it. Shizune still doesn't know that though. I'm determined to keep things that way until I'm very sure of my skills. Perhaps it's a little childish of me. Chonabata is in less than 5 days, but they're only going to start building the stalls tomorrow.
Hichan, you might have to help out with building stalls again, starting tomorrow.
Why? What was the point of taking them apart then? That took days, didn't it?
Yep, that's right, even though Hichan wasn't there for it.
I would have helped out if you asked. It wouldn't have made sense to bore you with cleanup duty after you enjoyed the festival too much.
It wouldn't have made sense to bore you with making you clean up right after the festival. It would have ruined the fun.
Besides...
Hichan is lazy anyway. You would have tried to run away again. Hichan doesn't like playing Foxhound.
That stings. Shizune covers her mouth with her hand and starts shaking. It takes me a second to realize she's laughing, mostly because she's doing so completely soundlessly. It's a little strange to see, but more or less the same good-spirited kind as Misha's, without being eardrum piercing.
That's a good question though, Hichan.
Huh?
Stalls!
It's a storage issue. The school doesn't have anywhere to store so many stalls. Since each one is pretty large, they won't pay for outside storage hours, so this is what they decide on. It's inefficient but cheaper.
Because the school doesn't have anywhere to store that many stalls, Hichan.
With that, it's just like she translates it in a more simplistic way, isn't it?
Yeah, right, they do, but they don't want to pay. Sorry, Hichan.
It's because of the previous generation. The leadership decided that outside storage costs had risen too much, and the student council before us was too weak-willed to tell them that it's stupid to have to build and disassemble 60 stalls twice every year.
Okay!
What, you didn't even translate any of that?
Hichan, let's eat something. It feels like we've been working all day.
We have, now that I think about it. I am hungry. I would have had lunch, but it was really crowded today for some reason, so I decided it wasn't worth the trouble.
It was like that today because they have so many... they had some especially interesting things for sale on the side.
Like what? No, don't tell me. I guess it doesn't matter since I won't be able to eat them anyway. Shizune looks oddly pleased with herself. I wonder what the context of that could be. Man, the weather outside's pure shit. It's like all grey and white. It's just like, nah. I'm gonna turn the freaking light on. It's just so kind of, it's like, well, to be fair, it's nearly 8, but freaking hell, man, the weather is shit. And it's supposed to be summer. That's the odd thing here in the UK. The summer is crap. You barely see the sun half the time. It's freaking spring where it's at in this country. That's the only time you get a consistent kind of, you know, sun here and there compared to summer, which is usually just rain and freaking clouds. It's not summer at all, is it? It makes no sense. Well, it does. I don't know. It's just generally weather in the UK sucks. I prepared ahead of time for this. Beaming with self-satisfaction, she produces a wide assortment of food from her bag. I can immediately see that 90% of it or more was taken from the lunchroom. There's a lot as well. Is there a limit on how much a person can buy? That means these gains are definitely ill-gotten. The veal cutlet bread is always sold out in the first minute of lunch. I'm impressed you managed to obtain one. Thank you. I reach for it quickly, but Shizune immediately makes a grab for it as well. Her hand goes slack for a second when it touches mine, but she immediately pushes forth and with redoubled effort, that blazing competitive spirit flashing dangerously in her eyes. Her fingers pry at mine, searching for an opening. Again, this is like, if Shizune was a real person and I knew her, I don't think we'd get along very well. I'm not like a very competitive type of person. So if someone made a game out of everything that they do in life, I just kind of get annoyed eventually. It's like, my gosh, Shizune, not everything's a game, damn it. I don't budge an inch, prepared to fight for this bread with my life. I might never have another chance to eat this. I'm fully aware that if we continue like this, we could crush the bread, greatly reducing its edibility. Misha, tell her that unless she lets go, the bread is going to be crushed.
Why can't you do it yourself?
I'm startled she can so nonchalantly let slip that I could communicate with Shizune just fine if I wanted to. Almost consider the possibility it was intentional, but I'm sure she was just distracted trying to tear the wrapper off a juice box drawer. Isn't it obvious? I can't let go of the bread.
I can't tell Shi-chan that then.
She puts her palms up to the sky and shrugs, a wide grin on her face. Why not?
Because you have a stake in this, so I can't trust you. If Shi-chan wants to reply, she has to let go of the bread, and then you win. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe that's what you want, Hi-chan. It wouldn't be fair, so I'm going to be neutral, like Switzerland.
Switzerland?
Do you know about Switzerland?
Of course I do. It's neutral. They're neutral. Shizune stares at me cockily, the tip of her tongue sticking out slightly from between her teeth as she continues to tug firmly at the veal cutlet bread between us. That's the odd thing about Switzerland. It's like, in the World Wars when all of Europe was in complete chaos fighting each other, and there's Switzerland in the middle of it all. It's like, we ain't getting involved with this shit. Just like, we're not picking sides. We're just going to sit back and just do whatever. Suddenly she lets go and holds her hands up, palms facing outwards, the universal gesture of peace. This seems like a poor way to settle this, doesn't it? And we might crush the bread. She glares and her passive expression quickly plummets into a disapproving grimace.
Hi-chan, drop the bread. We are drop the bread. We are negotiating now.
I drop the bread reluctantly. Misha's hand darts in from the side, her fingers drum across the table as it makes its way over.
Don't mind me, I don't even really like veal. I'll just take the sandwich here, right here, and some of the drink too.
Picking him up cautiously, she immediately retreats. She has the right idea. I could just pick something else. There are lots of delicious things here. The chicken katsudon bread is also a popular seller, ranking high in taste and demand, but I've already eaten one before. You're so immature, Hisao. This wouldn't be a problem if you would pick something else. The chicken katsudon bread is delicious. That's rich coming from you, Shizune.
You're so immature, Hi-chan. Why don't you pick the chicken katsudon bread instead? It's delicious.
But I've already eaten that.
Hi-chan, why are you so obsessed with eating the veal cutlet bread? Specifically...
This is the way I said that. It's hard to get normally. Rare things are more delicious. That doesn't make sense.
You're acting like a child. You're acting like a kid, Hi-chan.
Why don't you eat the chicken bread?
That's not important.
Turning bright red, she smiles cunningly and continues.
There's no reasoning with you, so it looks like there's only one way to settle this. We are going to play for it. That doesn't matter. We'll play for it instead.
Somehow I expected this. It's the logical conclusion. Yeah, the logical conclusion to arguing over some bread or something. Shizune has been studying for a long time, pretty much continuously up until now. With our final is over, I guess that surplus energy has to go somewhere. Play what? The oldest game known to man, upon which the fate of nations has been known to rest. Rock, paper, scissors. Well, but that's a luck-based game again, isn't it?
We'll play rock, paper, scissors. Really? That sounds so serious, Shi-chan.
Oh my god, the serious game of rock, paper, scissors! It's like... I remember like in... it was Muller 3, wasn't it? Like an important choice is made over rock, paper, scissors. It's like, yeah, we'll like decide this serious fake situation with a game of rock, paper, scissors. There's no humor in her expression. She's dead set on this. Okay. She draws her hand back and I mirror her. Go! We both put out rock, a draw, I thought I had the perfect plan. Rock is unbeatable. No, it's not! Shizune frowns, deeply upset by this unexpected turn of events. Not as planned. I mean, what makes you think that, man? If Rock was unbeatable in the game of rock, paper, scissors, then it'd be pointless. So for some reason, paper over rock. It doesn't really make sense when you really think about it, does it? I mean, imagine that. Like, you actually, like, scissors beats paper, but I'd imagine rock would also beat paper realistically. It just, like, crush through the paper or some shit. At least it's really strong paper, but even then, how does that really work? How does it defeat the rock? Is it really hard paper, where it just crushes the rock? It doesn't make sense, but whatever. Again! 2 papers. Damn. Again! We both throw out 2 rocks again, but a third hand is among us representing scissors.
This looks like fun. Can I play? Ha 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 ha!
It's like freaking Project Diva F all over again, where you go to the freaking rooms and they always challenge you to rock, paper, scissors.
It's a duel, Shi-chan. Dueling conduct? You're right. I really don't know.
You know what? This image right here, since she's going on about games so much, I think maybe I'll do another picture edit where I'll put this face on the face of Yami Yugi from Yu-Gi-Oh! Because why the hell not? She obviously sees herself as a master of games. Well, king of games, queen of games, whatever you want to call it. The faster she signs, the harder it is to follow. In fact, it looks like even Misha is having trouble keeping up. What's she talking about? One more time! That reminds me of this freaking DJ set on my keyboard. He has this voice that goes, one more time! We try again. Every time, Shizune demands a rematch, eventually skipping that step altogether and throwing rock, paper, or scissors out with increasingly reckless abandon. Even playing completely random, we continue to tie. This is a mathematical long shot. Misha hovers above us, watching it all and laughing each time we draw. After 16 rounds, Shizune pushes her chair away from the table and stands up. How can you go 16 rounds without winning or losing? You must have the same freaking mind, or what?
Enough of this, Hee-chan. I see that what I have been doing wrong. This will all be over in the next round, so brace yourself, okay? Okay. I have studied your thought processes, and I see how you play. I'm anticipating your next move and will combat it expertly.
This is all news to me, as I can't remember what we are doing this over. Shizune grins comically, a look of fearless daring on her face. Her cool eyes flash with pure competitive spirit, as she draws her hand back, goading me wordlessly to do the same. It does kind of remind me of like Project Diva F. I do a similar thing. I kind of analyze like their pattern of like when they choose rock, paper, or scissors. And all, well, not that actually. In that game, it made you look. It just uses rock, paper, scissors for it. I always kind of examine which way they'd look rather than the rock, paper, scissors thing, because that's all guesswork essentially. But I don't know. Her form is amazing, like a professional bowler or something. Just to throw a hand motion. 2 papers. That face. Shizune's body immediately goes slack, and she rubs her temples with a look of expiration on her face as she lets out a sigh so long it sounds like a tire deflating. I realize I've gotten a lot hungrier in the time we've been doing this. We can just split it. You know, it's a draw, so we get a half each. I break the bread in half and offer one half of it to Shizune. She takes it. Thank you. She looks at the bread in her hand, studying it. But this feels hollow somehow. Regardless of how she feels, she still eats it. All of a sudden, I see Misha observing the scene out of the corner of my eye.
Hee-chan, that was very romantic, I think.
Oh, come on. She laughs and takes a bite of her second sandwich. We eat in silence for a while, Shizune and I managing to avoid any other contests, and then we go back to work. As I finish up today's usual filing, I think to myself that this might be Shizune's way of trying to start this week on a high note. After all, tomorrow is when the real work will begin, and with her hands literally full building stoves, she won't be able to talk very much. It will likely be pretty dull and tiring, but you first time around. Appreciative of her efforts. In that case, it's nice to know, or nice to have days like this as a way of enjoying herself before the days ahead. I think that was her idea as well. Also remember that I still have to get rid of Kenchi's package. What? The damn thing is bulky, and somehow I've never been able to track him down since I picked it up. So he hasn't even given it to him yet? After student council is adjourned for the day, I walk towards the vending machines to look for something to drink. Spotting from Shizune and Misha, it's a short trip, but after even just a few seconds, I start to get the feeling I'm not alone. A pair of hands cover my eyes.
Guess who?
Shizune?
Haha, it's me, Hee-chan.
Yeah, I know.
Then why did you say it was Shi-chan? It's okay to be wrong sometimes, Hee-chan. You're too proud. Anyway, at the student council, you don't usually have any plans, right? So you're just going to go straight to your dorm?
Where else would I go?
Okay, that's great, Hee-chan. I wanted to talk to you today, so this works out perfectly.
Two high school students alone after classes in a quiet, empty building. As the sun dyes the sky a romantic amber color, the cute girl says what she wants to talk, that she wants to talk. For a secretive and appealing situation. My imagination is buzzing. It's likely not going to be anywhere near as exciting as I'm making it out to be, but it's fun to play it up that way. The popping sound of my canned coffee opening destroys any chance of maintaining such a cheesy mood, sounding louder than I've ever thought imaginable, amplified by the context of the situation. I assign disappointment and relief. So, what is it? Well, we'll either find out right now or next time, depending on how we'll be to town. We'll find out now! So what is it?
Oh, actually, I'm a little behind in some of my classes, and if I don't catch up, it could be a problem. I can't put it off any longer. My teacher says that I have to really start taking things seriously, so I should listen, especially because this is the third time. I'm sorry, Hee-chan.
Why are you apologizing?
I won't be able to help you or Shi-chan with student council for a few days. It'll only be for 2 or 3 days, really. I'll definitely try and come back as soon as possible, but...
I can't say I'm happy about this. It's supposed to be getting really busy this week too, isn't it? That's some unfortunate timing. For a second I want to ask if maybe Shizune could pull some strings to get her out of it. But Misha looks so generally apologetic about it, it'd be pretty dickish of me to say something like that. To actually say dickish here. Besides, if she says it's something that can't be put off any longer, I'm inclined to believe her, considering how surprisingly serious she can be with student council duties. Yeah, I see it's okay. You managed with just Shizune and yourself last year, didn't you? So I'm sure I'll be able to as well. Don't worry about it.
Really? Thank you, Hee-chan. Really? Yay, yay! I didn't know Hee-chan would take it so well. I thought you would be worried with how there's going to be so much work with Tanabata coming up and everything.
Damn, she knows me oddly well. Well, it has been a while since he's been there and constantly hanging around each other.
But Hee-chan is so composed. I'm glad.
Yeah, you're sort of right. I was thinking about it, but it's not that big a deal. I'm not gonna freak out over it. It's gonna be a little annoying passing that bad back and forth to Dr. Shizune, though.
Hee-chan, just tell Shizune that you can use sign language too. I don't understand why you won't.
Not yet. I can understand most things already, but I want to be really sure. Actually, I wouldn't mind. The secrecy is killing me too, and it would be nice to be able to talk to her in a real conversation. Don't worry, I'm going to have to tell her eventually. I want to. Actually, I'm trying to think of a good opportunity for it.
That won't be a problem, Hee-chan.
Why not?
Well, because I kind of told Shi-chan that you could understand her. She was worried about the same thing, that you wouldn't be able to understand each other. So, I was worried, but it worked out fine in the end after all.
I lose it. You know how stupid I look now! I sat there for like half the damn day acting like I couldn't read sign language. Are you seriously telling me that she knew the whole time I could? She was probably thinking, this guy's a complete jackass pretending he can't understand me. I just made a total ass of myself. How could you let me do this? Misha frowns, seeming lost for words on realizing that I'm taking this differently than she might have expected. She doesn't speak again until after seeing that I've calmed down.
But Hichan, I think this is definitely for the best.
She says without batting an eye, having waited patiently through my panic state. The cheerful delivering of her words makes it seem like she sliced out the way between when she dropped the bomb on me and now. It's pretty funny in a way, especially that ah! You have such a one-track mind, you know that?
Yes!
The damage is done. If Misha can believe that things still work out with such unflinching surety, then maybe it's worth giving it a chance. So, I think this is like, once we actually get the scene where they finally start talking in sign language, I think that was the point. This is the first I've gotten through the route, I think. And if things don't work out, I'll run as fast as I possibly can. To try and make it up to me anyway, just in case she offers to buy me an old drink from the vending machine. It's a very small token of apology, but I suppose it's the thought that counts, and her thoughts are sincere. Plus it's a free drink, so I accept. Dooba-doob, dooba-doo, 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 dooba-doo. I throw back my daily fistful of pills with a glass of water. After a solid 8 hours of sleep, I don't really know what I was so afraid of last night. So I chew a particularly large tablet in half. I continue to rationalize my worries away. Shizune knew I was taking sign language classes all day yesterday and didn't make a big deal out of it. She might be mute, but that doesn't mean she can't make her feelings known. So, no, in fact, it seems like she's all the more direct for it. So when she said in that scene about like, why don't you just tell her yourself or something like that, the reason why she was so careless with that is because she'd already told her then, I'd imagine. She doesn't beat around the bush or hold back. She always makes herself clear, unapologetically, so there can be no mistakes. So if she wasn't mad then, it's unlikely she would be at all. And on top of that, I didn't do anything wrong anyway. But as that fear of mine recedes, the thought of spending a couple of days with Shizune without Misha takes its place. I hadn't really thought about it yesterday, but the idea becomes more and more intimidating. It's true I can understand sign language pretty well, but I would definitely hesitate to say I can understand it above a basic level, and if she were to speed up her signing, which she does quite a bit, I don't think I could keep up. Signing too is not my strong suit. Doing both at the same time like Misha can is still a distant dream.
Hichan!
What?
Don't forget you said you would help out with the building souls today. Behind the school after classes are over, okay?
I know.
Last time you helped out, Hichan, we really appreciate it. This time it's even more important, so skipping out is unforgivable, okay?
Don't ask why that is, but there isn't an opportunity to. Besides, Misha's behind in her classes, so it seems like a bad idea to distract her now that I know that. I can always ask her at lunch, which is what I end up doing.
Because, Hichan, a festival that celebrates the town is exactly what it sounds like. It's to celebrate your home and its history. Tanabata is different. It's for wishes and others. That definitely makes it more important, doesn't it? Yeah, naturally it would be.
Is that really what it's for, though?
Hichan, you have no sense of fun.
She puffs out her cheeks in displeasure before blowing the air out like a deflating balloon.
You have to appreciate things like that, even if it's just an excuse to eat interesting things and dress up in the end. I'll be disappointed in you if you don't, okay?
Before I can say anything, she turns to the side to inhale a croquette. After classes, I meet Shizune behind school, where it seems she already set everything up sometime yesterday. A second. I'm starting to think that frickin' fishing kind of line sound whenever it's windy outside isn't a washing line or anything like that. I just realized it's not in our garden, it's in neighbor's garden. It's just like, we don't even have a freaking washing line. Was it? Well, we probably do, but it's not out. Whatever. But I think it's the are they called vines? I think, or maybe whatever. It essentially goes up the wall of the house, right up to my window, essentially. That's probably what makes that sound. But anyways, after class I met Shizune behind the school. She already set everything up sometime yesterday.